Okay, so we could have the best speakers in the world. Trust me, these speakers are pretty good, used by many professional mixing engineers. But it's no good unless you've got the right environment to mix within. Now, this room, again, is far from perfect, but I've got quite a lot of acoustic treatment in here. And it wasn't just done by myself. I actually got somebody in to measure the room. He came in with a microphone, and he set the microphone up in different placements and actually measured the frequency response of the room. And so I've had the room kind of treated, in response to the frequency response, so to speak. Now you can see in the room here, we have some panels behind the speakers, and those panels are specifically for high frequency reflection. And they're actually mounted from the wall by probably about 2 inches, with little wooden joists, and apparently that actually gives twice the it makes them twice as effective. So but they're only for high to high mid frequencies, the panels there. They're placed behind the speakers, and because that's specifically to stop reflection coming back at me into my mixing environment, into the sweet spot, so to speak. So it's always good with acoustic treatment to treat behind the speakers, and also to treat to the sides of the speakers. They say that you should get a mirror and stand with the mirror and your speaker, and anywhere you can see with that mirror, that's where the speaker will reflect, and that's the area that needs to be treated. Okay, so as well as the panels behind there, we have the maroon panels on the wall. Just excuse my choice of colour. Now, these are for more, not only high frequencies, but more for mid frequency as well. And they're basically boxes filled with 50 to 100 mil of rock wool. And they are specifically sort of high to mid frequencies. I've got as many as I possibly can in this room. We go over to this side, and you can see this big red box over here. This is a bass trap. Now, this was actually built to a very specific design. When the guy came, he measured out the frequencies, and he said, okay, so you've got a dip at 60 hertz. That means that I'm not hearing a 60 hertz frequency, because there's something in the room that's causing there's a node, a bass node in the room, i.e. there's a big frequency dip. It's coming back at me, and in this position here, it's nulling out the 60 hertz frequency. So, in response to that, we had to build this big bass trap, which is quite a complex design, but that actually takes care of that 60 hertz null node area. And it's placed specifically at the side of me, again, to work around the sweet spot area. And then you can see further to the side of that, then we have the area over here, I like to call the analog area, is we've got more of the maroon boxes, which is for mid to high frequencies again. So there's quite a lot of acoustic treatment in this room. It's not overkill, and I could certainly go further. The shape of the room isn't the best, although it's actually quite nice because we don't have any parallel ceiling to floor. It's quite angled because we're in an attic of a house. Yeah, so I've got quite a good mixing environment. It's quite an even frequency in here. I can move around, and the bass is generally the same wherever I am. And that's down to the fact that I had the room analysed, and I've built the traps in accordance to that. Now, not everybody's going to be as lucky as me and be able to maybe get the materials, or know people that can build things, or know people that can come and measure out your room. Or you may be in a room which isn't the right shape, it's too small. And also, you may have to even work on headphones because of the sound and the noise you're making. So not every room is going to be perfect. Now, all I can say in those instances is that you have to then use, when you're mixing, it's got to be a balance between listening on the speakers and also using headphones. Now, over here, I have my Sennheiser HD650. These are sort of mid-range headphones, which I like to use for mixing. So I'll do half of my mix on those, and then the other half of the mix I will check on the speakers. Also as well, if you're not working in a very well treated room, the best thing to do, I would advise, is to get a mix to a point where you're quite happy, but then take that mix away and listen on other systems. The car is a great place, because that's the place where you're really used to listening to music in the car on long journeys. So the car for me is the perfect place to check out a track. Not only that, you can go and check it out on your hi-fi, on your computer. A great tip as well is when I'm listening to tracks on Beatport, for instance, if I'm buying things to play, to DJ with, I will listen to that track on my Mac monitors, my Mac speakers on the laptop. And a lot of people do that. So it's always good to, get a version, put it on your laptop and listen to the track on there. My point being is, if you're not in a perfect room, as I'm not in a perfect room, it's always good to try and listen to your mix on as many different systems as possible. So join me in the next video and I'll discuss the merits of mixing with headphones versus mixing with speakers.